Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Awakening Podcast. This is your host, Cosmic Colleen, back with another weekly astrology update. It is Tuesday, February 6th. How the heck did we get already into the second week into February? I feel like I say this every year, and maybe I'm just in like the busiest time of my life, but damn, every year is going faster. I'm like, before I know it, I'm kind of booked out. Like the end of February is already here. And then we're into March. I don't know what is happening, but time can definitely slow down. Or I think one of the ways that we can maybe slow time down is just slow down our lives. But I know for most people, life is not slowing down. We're just getting busier and busier. So that's a whole other subject that I could talk about, but let's not talk about that. So right now, things we're going to talk about on today's episode. Yesterday, we had some interesting energy with Mercury moving into Aquarius and conjuncting Pluto. This is going to be a newer energy that I want to talk about. We're going to talk about that today because every planet now moving into Aquarius is going to be conjunct Pluto. So we had that yesterday, conjunct Pluto. Tuesday today, we have not too much energy really. The moon moved into Capricorn. And then on Wednesday, Venus will trine Uranus. So kind of loving that. Mars will sextile Neptune. Then on Friday, we got the new moon in Aquarius. It is happening the exact new moon when it's at the exact degree in Aquarius when the sun and the moon are together in Aquarius will be 5:59 p.m. East Coast time. Now, before the new moon gets that exact conjunction, it conjuncts with Pluto, and that's also going to square Uranus and Taurus. And then next week on the 13th, Tuesday the 13th, Mars moves into Aquarius. So we got Mars moving into Aquarius, and then it conjuncts Pluto. We're going to be feeling that early next Monday, and that's really going to be the theme of the week. I feel like the theme of this next 2 weeks and this moon cycle is going to be very Pluto and Aquarius which is going to be really interesting and kind of kicking off the flavor for the next 20 years. So like I said, this past Monday, we had that really interesting energy with Pluto moving into Aquarius. And my son Abram, who just turned 10, has 4 major Aquarius placements in his first house. And I can tell you just even yesterday, when that had happened in conjunct Pluto, and now that not natally he doesn't have that, but now transity, it's in his first house. And yesterday he just couldn't stop teasing. He wasn't listening, and his brother, who is totally squares him with all this Taurus placements, it was interesting to see kind of this dynamic play up, especially in my Aquarius sun, this very kind of Uranian, ooh, I'm going to be chaotic and I'm just going to tease and just be very disconnected from conversations, disconnected from someone saying to him hey, listen, hey, I don't like that, hey, this. So that was really a little bit of the flavor yesterday, even just watching him interact. Now, like I said, this new energy, so pay attention for Aquarius season, okay? Because now Pluto is in Aquarius for the next 20 years. It ingressed into Aquarius, and it's going to be in those beginning of Aquarius for a few years, in those beginning degrees of Aquarius for a few years. So each Aquarius season now, every time that Venus moves in and Mars moves in and Mercury moves in and the sun moves into Aquarius, it is going to conjunct Pluto in the early degrees of Pluto in Aquarius. So pay attention over these next 2 weeks. Write a little notebook, because that's going to get, especially for my Aquarius placements, that's going to give you an idea of how Aquarius season's kind of going to be over these next few years. It's going to be really interesting and similar. And for my Aquarius placements, there's going to be a little bit of a cycle there that each year you can revisit. So definitely pay attention to that. Now, just for instance, as each planet enters and conjuncts Pluto, again, it's going to feel very similar to what we're going to be experiencing this week and what we even started to experience last week. Just to give you an example, for the last few years, Pluto was transiting out of Capricorn at the end of the degrees of Capricorn, at the end of the sign. So, for those 18, 19 years as in Capricorn, just, a lot of things changed at the beginning. But then when it came to the end of the sign, all the planets for the last few years were conjuncting Pluto in Capricorn at the very end of its transit and at the very end of Pluto's transit for the last few years. So within that, we found a lot of final endings, a lot of conquering shadows, finding your strength and power in kind of like that finite season. The season finale over the last few years were kind of a theme. So if you just so you guys can get the idea, again, when the planets were conjuncting Pluto in Capricorn for the last few years, like I said, there was a lot of endings when Venus would conjunct a Capricorn. Even in the last couple of years, we had, the Capricorn, we had the Venus retrograding in Capricorn, the Sun in Capricorn, all those things that had a different tone than this is going to have. So now kind of Aquarius season, and it's the beginning of both this degrees. It's going to be the the next couple years, like I said, it's going to be that beginning degree in Aquarius. So all the planets now are going to have a new shift and a little bit of a new lighter energy. I think the last couple years having Pluto in the late degrees of Capricorn kind of really brought out some really deep things that weren't necessarily easy to process, or, we really felt them, versus in this Aquarius air sign that is sort of very detached, and even though it's the water bearer, there is these emotions. It kind of flows. It really flows detached within its emotions. If you know Aquarius placements, they're all emotional in the moment, and then they detach like nothing even happens. So though they still kind of hold on to it. So not as much as a Gemini. Now, again, so now with this new switching over to a new chapter, we will see new themes to Pluto in Aquarius season. So these are some of the themes that we can expect over these next couple of years, as well as this current next 2 weeks. So there's going to be sudden, deep desire to make a passionate change. And it will mostly feel like it's for a good cause or out of fairness. So you really kind of, something just catches you and you're like, you know what? I need to make things right. I need to make a positive change. I need to make a positive shift. And it's going to have a really strong, deep desire. There can still be a deep desire, and especially in fairness. If you know Aquarius placements, they love fairness. They love rooting for the underdog. They love bringing balance, not the same way Libra does. They want to bring balance of the whole other spectrum, So if, let's say, for instance, I don't even want to bring up politics, but, there's one hard idea of politics that is very old school and needs changes, and it's not right and it's not okay. You'll find an Aquarius placement kind of be like, oh, right, I'm going to power through. This is the new idea. This is the new way. This is how, we need to bring this back alive again. So, again, we need to make things fair. You get what I'm saying? Libra is a little more fair in everything. This is sort of fair in things that are normally underdog type of ideas. There can be outbursts with sudden, stubborn energy and kind of sudden, stubborn in the emotions, but then it kind of blows off quickly. It kind of blows away faster, but not as fast. Like I said, Gemini, it can be in the hours. With Aquarius, it can a little bit be like that, but it can also go for 2 days, and then they're back to whatever it was and back to normal. Again, finding and feeling your power for good, though, for using it for good. I really enjoying Pluto. I think that Pluto in Aquarius is going to be much lighter, even though, there's going to be some scary technology things and stuff like that. I just think it's going to be an airier, lighter, kind of feel good than maybe Pluto and Capricorn a lot of the times. There's going to be heavy processing of detached emotions that we've been detached from. There's going to be a heavy processing with that. A deep search for new ideas within us, or, to make the world a better place, or to make even your community a better place. Aquariuses can be very community-based, usually a unique community, or they're doing something uniquely in the community to bring it together, like a new out-of-the-box idea. I always tell my son, who has all the Aquarius placements, Abram, I'm like, your greatest strength is that you think outside the box. And he does. He thinks very much outside the box. And that's a great strength that we can take from Aquarius placements, especially, now that we have Mercury in Aquarius. So any projects, any ideas, any things that you might not be too sure of, you can now take I'm sorry, Alexa just set a little alarm off. You can now think outside the box. There's going to be a deep search for just new ideas within us, the power of the underdog again. And that came to me twice, but I just feel like, again, there's no one that roots for the homeless more than Aquarius. There's no one who roots for people, who life is not fair than Aquarius. Also a rise in chaos. We do have, it's traditionally ruled by Uranus, and then all these transits are going to be squaring Uranus and Taurus right now, its own, its ruler. So there's could be just a rise in chaos. In general, we're going to see it in the collective, within ourselves. Sometimes it's chaos for a purpose, and sometimes it's just aimless chaos. But either way, there's going to be a rise in chaos. So buckle up for that. And when Mercury conjunct Aquarius yesterday, like I said, there was definitely a lot of chaos amongst even my own Aquarius placement. It's sort of just running around. And like I had said earlier, his energy was just like a little bit chaotic and a little bit teasy and a little bit, that's the Aquarius. That's Aquarius detachment a little bit. And with Mercury and Pluto, it kind of brought that out in a stronger way. And maybe some of you guys felt that in yourself yesterday, or just like the desire to just be a little chaotic, be a little mischievous, be a little like, ooh, some of that underlining mischievous energy when it conjunct Pluto kind of, boop, maybe came out of some of us. Now, at the end of the week, like I said, we got this new moon. The new moon is coming in. What time did I say? Oh, yeah, 5:59 p.m. East Coast time. But it first enters Aquarius at 8:59 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday the 8th. So that really kind of begins the full moon energy that we start to feel. And when it first moves in there, that full moon, like I said, it conjuncts Pluto. So this is like the brand new cycle of not only for Pluto, but this new moon and all of these like Aquarius placements, that Aquarius transits that are going to be happening over this next couple years. So the beginning of this new cycle will feel like a positive purging and meaning like purging of stuck ideas, words, theories, kind of like that. I got that energy out of me by doing X, Y, and Z. And now I need to do more of this X, Y, and Z and make this a habit because this purge feels so good. It's like a very positive purge, and it's not just a purge of like something that purges and then it goes away forever. Like that is definitely can be a little bit of a theme, but more so, like I said, like a purge of things that have been stuck inside of you that need to come out of you just to flow. And again, with ideas and thoughts and things that you are ready to conquer. So I'm kind of excited about that. And there also can be a little bit of a cathartic like purge of emotions. Like I said, especially those detached emotions that you've been kind of ignoring. That Aquarius energy is easily ignored, or maybe it's a new wound or some new family things that are coming up, or some just new pain that you didn't even realize bothered you, or you didn't even realize you were upset about. But again, it's going to be very positive. It's going to be a positive feeling purge. That's why I said that. I think the new moon will also be an energetic new moon, even though some of us might be a little tired. Even though new moons, we usually feel pretty relaxed and calm. I think that this one's going to bring a little bit of extra energy. It's traditionally, again, ruled by Uranus, and then the moon will be squaring Uranus and Jupiter. So I think for some people who are naturally tired and have nothing, I feel like my earth signs, you're actually going to be getting way more energy, and my fixed signs. And then I feel for like my air signs a little bit, Aquarius, you're going to be maybe a little more leveled and grounded. But the general energy, I think, will be a little wiry. A little bit wiry and a little bit like not sure how or where to place that wiry energy. So a new beginning with mind, body, and soul from this purge. I'm excited about that, especially for my Aquarius placements, mind, body, and soul purge. Feeling like you are doing something or starting something for a good cause, doing something for a right reason. Now, I know I said that in general for Pluto and Aquarius, but also especially for this new moon, maybe you're starting with a charity, or maybe you're starting to help someone in some way. Maybe you're tutoring, something that just feels good, and you're doing it for the right reason. Jumping into a new cause. I guess I keep going back to this. I wrote, but I think that's like a big theme. And again, it's kind of what I talked about. Pluto and Aquarius is really going to be coming up with this new moon. So again, jumping into a new cause, theory, or idea, a new thought process, a new like, actually, maybe I do believe in reincarnation now and don't necessarily believe in the traditional heaven. Something, that's a very Aquarius type of thought process. So like really jumping into new ideas or theories or being open to that. Feeling a little emotional, wired, wanting to have outbursts, but you're going to almost feel good immediately. Like an outburst, like as you're crying, you're just feeling that purge and you're like kind of happy that you're crying. You don't want to stop crying. A surprise power shift, especially for my Aquarius placements, feeling an urge to open your mind with a new and even like maybe weird or wild or eccentric avant-garde experience, a strong sense of a new purpose, something that is really going to give you a lot of drive. We can use this new moon to jumpstart any new action plan or, any idea that we really want to do, especially for my fixed placements and my Aquarius placements. Like if you've been bouncing some ideas around, but lacking that action, this new moon should really bring some new action and you should be able to really write down what do you need to do? What are the next new steps within that? And then next week, when Mars moves into Aquarius, and again, for my Aquarius placements in conjunction your sun, and then in general, we're going to feel that drive to continue to do our action plan. We're going to have a lot of energy for that drive. We're going to have a lot of perseverance and a lot of forefront within that next week, like I said, when Mars moves into Aquarius. And so next week when Mars moves into Aquarius, like I said, now Mars is moving into Aquarius and conjuncting Pluto. Whereas last year it moved into Capricorn at the very end and conjunct Pluto. So I'm probably last year, I don't remember exactly when that was totally, but I guarantee you there were definitely some endings for this time last year for a lot of my Capricorn placements that, were like permanent endings. So now Mars is entering Aquarius and there can definitely be a little more aggression in the general energy, but I feel like it's going to be more. We're going to see our shadows a little bit next week, the kind of shadowy feeling. But my Aquarius is it's going to be new shadows coming up that you guys are going to be seeing. Saturday, Mercury in Aquarius on Saturday. So we're getting this theme. Squares Jupiter in Taurus. I already know the first thing came to my head is I got to text my kid's father because he has him that day. And they're going to be fucking fighting. I can just tell you because both my other son has 4 major Taurus placements in his first house. My other son has all of them in Aquarius. And then we got Mercury in Aquarius squared Jupiter in Taurus. So there's going to be, again, some blow-ups and some blow-ups. God, I got to warn him and pray for him. But in general, blow-ups around control. I could just look at these two, their energies, and I know how it flows when Aquarius and Taurus are up against each other. And there's a little bit of that control or that desire for what they want in the moment. They want total control. And there's always this battle between the air and that detached feeling and the very grounded, secure. And I see it within my own kids and that own dynamic. And that's really a big dynamic that plays through in Aquarius Taurus energy is, again, one is very light and doesn't take too much serious, and it's hard to get them to like even sit down and have a conversation and or give you security. And that's all that that Taurus is craving. They want that security. They want that grounded energy. So like I had said, I think 2 weeks ago with Aquarius, it must have been maybe the full moon. I can't remember what I said, but the full moon in Leo is like both can borrow from each other. Both of those control fixed placements can learn, Taurus can learn to be a little lighter and Aquarius can learn to be a little bit more grounded within themselves. So there will be this weekend after that new moon, Saturday will feel a little bit wonky. So there can be a disagreement, among theories or ideas. It's a deaf, stubborn energy. And again, you might just in your own way see how you need to ground yourself more, or again, maybe just see how others' grounded ways, or the lack thereof isn't working for you, or at least not in that moment. It doesn't mean forever, but it's just not working for you in that moment. Emotional outbursts that don't make any sense. That's for Saturday. And again, fighting for an idea or your wants, but with conviction and passion. and just persevering through those things. Whew, that's a lot of Aquarius energy. I'm not kidding you. I was even thinking the other day, why do my kids, not only do my boys who have those major Taurus placements and major Aquarius placements that square each other, they both their moons, Abram has a Libra moon and Remy has a Capricorn moon, and their moons square each other. So they are honestly, with that square, they're often in friction, and more so than your average Joe, your average boy. They have a lot of fun wrestling with each other, but 24/7, there's usually some sort of friction going on. Even when things are first fun, there's a little bit of friction. So we learn about astrology not only to better understand ourselves and gain awareness, but understand like, hey, how can we grow and shift and be adaptable? And that can be, or at least allow others to like, be in the change with what others want. And both of those signs, Aquarius and Taurus, have a very hard time with that. They're not your mutable placements and they're your fixed placements. So what they want, they want. And what they know, they know. And it's hard to sometimes break beyond that. So when those things come, and if this energy to you is bringing you that very fixed idea, that very fixed thought, sit with it and ask yourself, am I holding on to this thought for too long? Am I being stubborn with this? Can I think and grow beyond this? Do I need to, maybe be open to someone else's perspective? Do I need to be open to someone else's opinion? Do I take on others' perspectives openly? Those are going to be a lot of the themes, the questions, the ideas with this new moon, and kind of kicking off this new moon cycle with Pluto and Aquarius and finishing up the Aquarius season, because then we go into Pisces season on what day is that? I guess it's the 19th. Yeah, it's the 20th. Then we go into Pisces season. So I know I am excited about that. Actually, I'm sorry, it's the 18th. Pisces season always throws me off because it's like the earliest of the year in the zodiac. It goes in most of the time. They go in around like the 20th, 21st, and it starts to get later throughout the year. And I always kind of forget that the 18th actually on East Coast time, 11:13 p.m., the sun will move into Pisces. So it kind of kicks off at the very end of the 18th, but mostly the 19th. So let's get it together. Let's get a little more understanding. Let's get a little bit more open-minded and lead with conviction before we get into Pisces season, and then we all detach and slip away into dream world and don't want to do any work anymore. Let's finish out these next 2 weeks with lots of work and drive and strength, and take in all those good open-minded things and thinking outside the box that Aquarius brings. And that's one of the things I really enjoy when Mercury enters Aquarius, because I find it easier for us, again, to be a little bit more innovative, a little bit more ready for something new, and again, thinking outside the box. And that could save us in a lot of ways. And remember, Aquarius energy only likes to think outside the box with what it wants to think outside the box. If it doesn't want to do something, then it's not thinking outside the box. So maybe my Aquarius placements can get a little better with that if that shows up this week. Thank you guys again for listening, sharing, rating, reviewing, subscribing. That is the best way to support this podcast. I'm fully self-supporting. I don't ask for money, donations, nothing. All I ask, I love giving this information to you guys, is just to support me in that way. Again, rate it, review it, send it to someone who you think would like, subscribe to it. That really helps me out. And thank you guys. Well, I've been going through a lot of craziness over these last couple weeks, being patient with when I drop these episodes, and just, all the wonderful feedback and the love and the support you guys continue to show me. I am so grateful. I'm serious. I'm so grateful, and I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful new moon filled with lots of new ideas and theories, and hopefully not too many emotional outbursts. I love you all. Have an amazing day. Goodbye.